I am back. Sorry about that. We were on Wi-Fi. We took it off Wi-Fi, so maybe this works better.
Same for some reason, mine's not acting right today either, so no worries. What's up, Silver Addict? All right. Well, perfect. Well, Patrick, I'll let you get started on. We're just going to give talk about a little bit of stuff today and do a little education out there for you guys. So,
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me on, and we could talk about whatever. I could give you an introduction. We could talk about my outlook for the precious metals market, what's going on at APMEX, talk about One Gold, talk about the bullion card. Where do you want to go?
well, let's start off like world events, kind of what trends for the future, things like that, where we think we're heading, and why premiums are out where they're at.
Yeah, that's a lot to cover. So I'll just talk about, like, I guess my outlook for precious metals first of all, and where I think we are in this current economic cycle. So I think I'm actually tremendously bullish on the precious metals right now. I think there's a lot of parallels between now and what we saw in the 1960s and the 1970s, which is last time inflation has been at these levels. Just to take a couple steps back, I mean, you look at the 1960s, we had an inflationary cycle that lasted 9 years, which is just crazy. And then inflation did resolve itself around the mid 70s, so 1974. But what happened there is you had gold go from $100 to or $35 in 1971, where it was pegged, up to $200 in 1974. We had a brief period right there, which I think is similar to where we are right now, where the Fed actually had their Fed funds rate above the inflation rate in 74. And what happened there is gold actually corrected from 200 to 100. The economy went into a recession. People said, hey, the gold market's over. Getting out, need to get out at 200. Gold's not going to go anywhere. But what happened at that point is the economy went into a recession. The Fed lowered interest rates, and then gold took off from 100 all the way up to 850. So I think putting it back to where we are today, I think we're at that point when the Fed thinks it has inflation under control. I think, there may even be possible that they increase the Fed funds rate above the inflation rate. We're probably going to go into a recession, and I think the Fed's going to lower interest rates again, and it's going to cause this massive run in the precious metals.
Yep, and we're touching $2,000 gold as we're on the door of it.
Yep, that's very true.
So, yeah, just incredible what metals I've been doing. I've been stacking metals for 15 plus years, and you see it go up and it goes down, but in general it's been it's I remember buying it for 12, 13 bucks an ounce just within recent memory. So it's
Yeah, I remember that. I actively started buying in 2008 after that financial crisis, when I lost quite a bit of money being in stocks. And then I asked my financial advisor, I said, what went on? How did I lose half my portfolio? And he's like, well, no one could have predicted that event. And then I go into it, I start looking into gold, start looking into Austrian economics, got into gold around 2008. As obviously you and a lot of your listeners would know, that gold actually went down initially, but it ended up, for 2008 in the year. So certainly a great place to be. I've been stacking ever since, and it's been a good journey.
but me buying I'll buy stuff off of people, and they'll still have the original price of an ounce of gold from 1973, for example, and I see what they paid for it, and I'm just like, boy, if we would have put all of our money in the gold, we'd be in good shape. So
Yeah, I still think you have a long way to go. I think that this inflationary cycle, like we mentioned in the 60s, it took 9 years to resolve. 1970s, you had an inflationary cycle from 75 up to 80. It took 5 years to resolve. We're about 2 years into this current inflationary cycle. I don't think the Fed has an easy road ahead of it. And a lot of times, what happens too is it's easy for them to decrease inflation from, let's say, the 9% to the 8% to the 7 to the 6. But as you start going down there, 6 to 5 to 4 and 4 to 3 is a lot harder too. So I think at some point it's going to get sticky, which is long term going to be bullish for gold and silver.
yeah, I totally agree. I mean, how do you feel about or a little bit on the gold silver ratio? Kind of explain that how that works.
Yeah, so the gold silver ratio, obviously, it's the price of gold divided by the price of silver. It's been as high as, I think, 120 back in 2020, during that pandemic crash. It's also been as low as, let's say, 10 to 15 around that time. Obviously, no one knows where it's going to go. I always look at buying anything, whether it's trading the gold silver ratio, buying gold, buying silver, and looking at your risk reward. So right now it's at 80. It's at a higher point. I still think silver has a long way to go. In fact, I bought a good chunk of silver a couple months ago at 18, and I'm glad I did at that point. And now it's 24. But I think you just look at it. What's the probability of it going back up to something like 120, or what's the probability of it going down? I think it's more likely to go down than up from here, which is more bullish silver than gold.
Right. I think that's some good points. As far as, um, like, for example, fractional silver versus people buying kilos or 100 ounces, or, obviously people buy what they can afford at the end of the day. But what are your thoughts on the extra premium for fractional versus bigger chunks?
Yeah, what I would do and what I recommend for anyone getting into gold, silver, platinum, or whatever it is whatever product you buy, look at what you could buy it for versus what you could sell it for. Just because you're paying over spot for something doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad deal. Like, for example, some premium coins could trade for higher than spot, but people also buy it back higher than spot too. So, like, you want to look at that complete round trip spread. What could you buy it versus what could you sell it? And obviously the dealer is going to make a little bit of money between. So obviously if you do that, you will have a little bit of a loss, but you want to narrow that as thin as possible too. So if you look at something like a Silver Eagle, I do like Silver Eagles, but I think Silver Eagle premiums are unfortunately way too high right now. If I were buying silver, I would personally buy like a 100-ounce silver bar, just because the premiums are just a lot more attractive, and you're not losing as much on buying a 100-ounce silver bar. Because the thing that I've said on Silver Eagles, you'd hate to buy a Silver Eagle where spot's 24, you're paying $13 over, so you're paying, let's say, $37 for that Silver Eagle all in. And let's say you were right, silver went from 24 to 30. Hey, great call, you made a good investment. But premiums over time, I think, will normalize. So let's say the premiums go down from that 12 or 13 to 5, and now the Silver Eagle that you paid 37 for is now worth 35. So despite silver going up, you actually lost money.
No, absolutely, and I think that's a good point too. And as far as, I think most people that follow me kind of have a general idea. Obviously, the bigger amount you buy in one piece, the lower the premium. But at the end of the day, I would tell people, don't be scared of fractional, because granted, a half ounce or maybe $18 or whatever the case is, but you're going to be able to sell for more of a premium too. So it's not always the fact that it's closer to spot, or I'm sorry, more of a premium over spot. It's what you're going to be able to resell for after the fact. So I think that's not just spot price.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And the same thing could be said in fractional gold. A lot of times people say, well, I don't have $1,900 to buy an ounce of gold right now. If you get a 10th-ounce gold eagle, you're going to pay quite a bit over spot for it, but dealers like APMEX will buy it back for over spot. So it's not like you're going to lose all that premium. We will pay a premium over the spot for that coin.
Correct. One of some people are what are you doing? Somebody fractional is also easier to sell. 100-ounce of bar are limited to a certain buyer, right? So I think that's a good point. The ease of,
Yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, I think the audio might be chopping in and out. I think I missed that last question you said.
no, I said people are typing in the chat, and I just noticed somebody just said the fractional is also easier to sell because there's more buyers for it. A 100-ounce bar may have a much more limited market as far as finding.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. And I mean, you don't need to go to 100-ounce bars. Just look at the premium versus what you could buy it back. I know a lot of 10-ounce bars are also a good product. I personally think silver rounds are probably a better buy than some of the sovereign coins, especially like the Eagles. I like Silver Eagles. Unfortunately, I'm just not interested in paying these prices right now for them. I think premiums over time will normalize, but I don't want to pay a 50-60% premium for my silver.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's completely understandable too. What are your thoughts about sending, certain coins? Right.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that? I think my audio is chopping in and out.
Sorry, I don't know if that helps a little bit. What are your thoughts about sending certain coins to grade?
I think anytime you're grading coins or anytime you're dealing in numismatics, I would first of all say, like, understand what you're doing. I mean, on one end, you have people who make a living out of numismatics. And then on the other hand, you have people that I've heard get burned on this. They're paying crazy premiums. They're grading coins that they shouldn't grade. I would say understand what you're doing first, I think is the most important thing. And then obviously it's always good to have a little bit fun in what you do, but don't go crazy and like don't just let's say you didn't know anything about Morgans. Don't go buy a large bag of Morgans with the hope to grade all these and make a return. I mean, you got to know what you're doing before you do some of this stuff.
Absolutely, because grading isn't necessarily inexpensive. It can be pretty nice depending on the coin.
That's correct.
So yeah, I think those are a lot of people always have a question about, hey, should I send this to grade? Should I not? And honestly, I just put it down to it depends on the coin. It truly does, because some of them are well worth grading, and some of them just aren't worth wasting time to do it.
Yep, 100% agree.
Um, I know you guys have so talk to me a little bit about the kind of the precious metals IRA and that you guys offer as well, and what that entails for people who are investing this for the future.
Yeah, that's a great question too. And before then, I'd like to introduce One Gold if I can. I think One Gold actually offers the best precious metals IRA if that works with you.
Yeah,
So what One Gold is, so at APMEX, we like to have solutions for all types of investors. Obviously, if you like the physical, we'll sell you the physical. We have 25,000 products available at APMEX.com. But what we did and back in 2018 is we partnered with Sprott Asset Management, which is a large alternative asset manager out of Canada with about like 22 billion under management. And we wanted to create like a modern way for people to own precious metals. So you essentially could buy a vaulted position of gold, silver, or platinum stored at various vaults around the world. This is the U.S., Canada, UK, and Switzerland. And then from there, we have agreements with Brinks. We have agreements with Loomis. We buy the 1,000-ounce silver bars. We buy the 400-ounce gold bars. We put it in the vaults. We then make it available for people to buy. And then when they buy it, they're often getting a fractional ownership in a 1,000-ounce silver bar or 400-ounce gold bar. We sell silver for as low as 0.4% or 40 basis points over spot, gold for as low as 1% over spot. And basically all metals insured, it's audited. And if you ever want to take possession of it, we offer a redemption option where you could swap your metal for any of the 25,000 products available at APMEX. So I guess my question is, why am I mentioning this? You mentioned IRAs. I personally think that with an IRA, obviously you're not taking physical precious, you can't have that physical precious metals in your house. The IRS won't allow it. So you need to, typically you would have a dealer like APMEX, you would have a custodian, which is one of the IRA companies. I'll let whoever decide on that. Then you have a depository that would store your metal. Obviously, with all these different parties involved, there are a lot of fees. So the custodian is going to charge you a fee, the depository is going to charge you a fee. It's just not the most like the easiest process. So with One Gold, we've simplified that. You have One Gold as your dealer and your depository. You still need a custodian. But the nice part about with One Gold is you could get your custodian, fund your One Gold account, and you could buy and sell, trade the gold silver ratio, buy silver, buy gold, as opposed to a physical precious metals IRA. Let's say your dealer's APMEX, we're in Oklahoma City. Let's say you use an East Coast depository, and the metal has to go from Oklahoma City to the East Coast depository. If you want to trade silver for gold, guess what? You got to wait. So that's the neat thing about One Gold is you could do it on an instant. Trade gold and silver within your IRA and not actually have to worry about shipping that product. And let's say you want the gold, you want to take a distribution, you could easily redeem it and have it shipped to your house. Obviously, with an IRA, there are tax consequences with that.
Yeah, that's an incredible tool. You said that to get more info on that, or to look into that, they just go to onegold.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's onegold.com.
So yeah, perfect. If anybody's looking into IRA or retirement type accounts to do precious metals with, onegold.com. Hey, how you doing, Glittery? So
I think
yeah,
another interesting thing too on One Gold, and what a lot of us internally, some of the leaders over here at APMEX, we're doing is we're seeing premiums obviously at all time highs. I mean, in the last couple of years, but the premiums appear to be affecting a lot of smaller retail products. So it's affecting the Silver Eagles, the Silver Maples, the Silver Coins, the Silver Rounds, but it's not affecting the 1,000-ounce silver bars. So what a lot of us are doing, and myself included, is I'm buying in One Gold right now. I think premiums will turn to normal. I like physical too as well. I think when premiums turn to normal, let's say when the supply chains catch up, premiums will be lower, and I'm going to swap my position at One Gold and then get the Silver Eagles or the Silver Maples or whatever I want, but just not a $12 premium. Maybe I'll pay $5 in a year or so.
What are the tax? What are the? You mentioned the tax. What are the tax benefits of doing that?
I mean, with any precious metals, obviously there are capital gains tax. So if you bought it and you sell it, it is a taxable event. What I can say with APMEX and One Gold is all taxes are self-reported. I do recommend you report your taxes, but you're basically on your own. We don't issue any tax forms.
They don't force you to do it.
Yep.
Perfect. Um, And then some exciting thing that you guys recently came out a few months ago with APMEX was the kind of in tangent with that is the bullion card.
Yeah, this is something I'm super excited about. So back in August, we launched the first ever precious metals rewards credit card. So instead of earning like cash back or airline miles back, you're earning gold and silver back. There it is. You have it too. Thanks for applying. I have one too
This
as well.
No, you can't see the numbers on the back. No,
But
it works. In my own experience, I buy stuff every day, and I get reward points to use on AppMex's website, and I just throw that stuff in my personal stack. I mean, you can use, well, how many products you said? I say 25,000 products on
yeah,
AppMex.com.
about there. Yep.
So there you go. It's just it's another rewards program, and I love metals, and a lot of you guys do too. So super easy.
Yeah, and the card offers 4% back if you make a purchase on AppMex or One Gold. 1% back if you buy anything else. This is gas, groceries, shopping at your online retailers. A couple interesting offers too. It offers a 15,000 bonus points, which has a $150 value after you spend $1,500 or more. So what I did with my card, I got it, and I haven't got a card in like 15 plus years, but I thought this thing was so cool, so I got it. But I got an ounce of gold, got my $150 back. Guess what? That ounce of gold was below spot. Not going to complain, right? It offers 0% APR on purchases for 12 months and a 0% APR on balance transfers for 12 months. So if you are paying any high interest rate credit card debt, get out of that, get the bullion card, transfer it over, and not worry about it for 12 months.
Perfect. Got somebody asking that where do you see predict silver prices heading?
So silver has historically rallied after gold and to a much greater extent. So like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, it is, if history repeats and we get into this area where the Fed has to lower interest rates as a result of a recession, gold may go up a couple times. Maybe it hits $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 an ounce. Silver historically has made like a 12-fold move from that bottom up to the current top. Like I think if you look at the 1980s, you look at the 2011s, it was around $4 or $5. It went all the way up to $50. Obviously, the most recent low is 12. I wouldn't be surprised for a multiple move. I don't know if it's going to be a 12-fold move up from 12, but I don't know. Time will tell, but I think silver, I'm tremendously bullish on silver. I own quite a bit of silver.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. I'm a very big bull on silver as well. So I've got a ton stacked up, but even though the price keeps going up, I just I'm just keep buying it. Just keep buying it.
Yeah.
So
And that's a nice thing too, even with a bullion card, getting back to it, is as you live your day-to-day life, you're traveling, you're buying gas, you're buying groceries, you could automatically get points either on APMEX or One Gold, and you get silver just by living your day-to-day life.
yep,
It's
it's beautiful. I went to eat at Outback Steakhouse and I got some silver. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's better than cash back. I'd rather have silver than dollars. And with these days with weird travel restrictions, I know they're easing up right now. It's like I have so many airline miles that I can't even use. So it's like, well, I'd rather have silver instead of that.
Got somebody asked where they go to apply for the Outback or for the bullion card.
Yeah, there's two versions. So if you want rewards on APMEX, so basically you get points that you can redeem for any of the 25,000 products at APMEX. That link is thebullion.apmex.com. And then if you want that vaulted solution on One Gold, what it is like you could essentially, as you spend, you could select an asset, whether it's gold, silver, platinum, and what location you want, and we'll automatically invest it in there. And the way we're able to do that is One Gold sells it in 0.001 ounce increments. So we could sell you a fractional ounce of gold, fractional ounce of silver. Unfortunately, on APMEX, we don't offer products that small. But the link for the One Gold card is thebullion.onegold.com.
Perfect. Yeah, two great resources. Like I said, I've got mine and I use it for everyday expenses, and I purchase some stuff on AppMex, and it's great. You get your rewards either way, so I
Yeah.
love it.
And we do offer the occasional promotion on the bullion card. I know we had something on Black Friday where you got 5% back on AppMex purchases. And then on the year-end sale, there was a select number of products where you actually got 10% back by using the bullion card. So there are promotional offers too with a bullion card. So I personally, like I said, I got it. I think it's a pretty cool card.
So if you guys ever want to something from AppMex, I've got a partner link or affiliate link in my bio. So if you click SilverStackerLLC up here in the corner, go to the link in my bio. There's an AppMex link there, and I personally send out free fractional silver with every AppMex order. All you guys got to do is message me your order number, and I send it out separately. So, but they've got a ton of products and some good stuff. So check it out, please. But Patrick, it's let me see what else we got. Probably got time for about one more topic here. Let's see. What do you think about
We could talk
as far
premiums too
as
if you want.
yeah? That's where I was going. Like what the premiums we're paying now, and where did they come from? I know where they came from, but I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, so you have to go back to like 2019, and 2019 was our last like normal year where we were doing about $1 billion in precious metals demand and sales to retail customers. And then if you look at it, the prior years, so basically from 2011 till 2019, the precious metals industry didn't do a ton. So what happened at that point is you had a lot of the wholesalers, the distributors, the mints, and all that stuff right sizing their production to the demand that you saw in 2012 to 2019. And then obviously 2020 hits, we have that COVID crash, precious metals demand spiked up through the roof. And what we're seeing now is more than double the purchasing, more than double the number of customers purchasing, and more than double the sales. So we've been doing over 2 billion in retail sales to retail customers in the last couple of years. But obviously, if you have a certain supply chain, and then now it's like the demand just spiked up. Premiums unfortunately just spiked up that then too, and it was just everyone had to accommodate for that additional demand. But what we are seeing right now is demand is still at levels higher than what we saw back in like the 2019 times, but it is a little bit lighter than what we've seen in the past, let's say, year or two. So what you'll see right now is you'll see a lot of premiums are starting to go down. So you'll see like Silver Eagle premiums are going down, Gold Eagle premiums. I think over time premiums will normalize unless there is another supply shock where supply or demand shock where people are just running to precious metals, and unfortunately at that point premiums will spike again.
Well, all the dealers like myself, we're all dealing with whenever we make orders with the mint, everything is there's a longer wait time for product. Everything just has a lag effect on it. And that unfortunately boosts the basically people needing it, and there's not enough of it out there, and the premiums kept going up and kept going up because there was more demand than supply. And we were waiting a month or two for our orders from the mint when before we could get it in days. So it just a different animal.
Yeah, it completely is.
So yeah, it's a lot. I love precious metals, and it's just everything about it has fascinated me for years. And fortunately, I can make it a big part of my life. So
Great, me too.
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, at the end of the day, for closing remarks, Patrick, what for people that are there, I have all kinds of levels of people: beginners, intermediate, some heavy stackers. What's your advice for people that are getting started or have started ramping up their stack? Like
Yeah, I would
what
say
is your advice for people
for anyone
that
who
are
doesn't
trying
have
to?
precious metals, I would say definitely get into precious metals. Have some sort of allocation. 0% is probably not the right answer. 100% is probably not right either. But there's a number that's somewhere in between. Obviously, you could go to APMEX for physical metal. You could go to One Gold if you want an easy solution to own vaulted metal. Another thing too is I say diversify your stack too. Like it's not always good to have. A lot of times I mention to people like you start stacking gold and silver. They start with a couple $1,000s. It becomes tens of thousands. It becomes hundreds of thousands, or maybe even a seven-figure sum if they're lucky enough, right? But at some point you want to diversify. You don't want $1 million in silver at your house. So and that's why we have solutions like One Gold too as well. Diversify your holdings. You never know what's going to happen, and it couldn't hurt to have gold, silver, and different locations.
What are your feelings on platinum and rhodium and things like that?
I'm not into it too much. Like I just look at it too. If you look at our sales on APMEX, for example, about 65-ish% of our sales are gold in terms of dollar values. The other, like say 35 plus percent is silver, and then there's probably like a 1 to 2% platinum and palladium. I think they're industrial metals. I mean, who knows if they'll trade with gold and silver as a precious metal? But if you get involved in it, I mean, I don't know. I would say don't go too crazy with it.
Yeah, just as a supplement, not as a big, huge part of the stack anyway.
Yeah, and people could trade it. I mean, historically, platinum's been trading at a premium to gold. So if you want to speculate, thinking that platinum is going to go back to that premium over gold, then hey, maybe get in. But I wouldn't use platinum or palladium as your core precious metals holding.
I was just going to buy a bunch of copper and call it good.
There you go. Copper's fun, but
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. It's fun. To me, it's not really an investment.
absolutely. Oh man. Well, Patrick, it's been great, been very informative, and we definitely appreciate it. It's always good to instill a little bit of knowledge about the market. Kind of hear that.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. We'll talk again. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
See ya.